November 7th, 2024, it is 10 a.m. We'll begin our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. If everyone could please join in.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Let the record show that all board members are present, as well as Clerk Treasurer Donna Coomer and our attorney, Bo Zeller. You've been provided with an agenda. I need to add some items. I came in a little bit late after the agenda had sent out. So under new business, we're going to shift some things down. Item A will be a notice of intent to serve track 27A in River Ridge. Item B will be a lease purchase summary for a new utility truck. And item C will be collection system design specifications, with then D, E, and F being specific SRF disbursements. So with that amended agenda, entertain a motion to approve as amended.
So make it motion.
Motion by Robin Hoskins, I'm assuming that's a second from Nathan.
Second, I'll second his
Right.
motion there.
Are there any other additions that need to be made or edits? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye.
You had Tim add something?
Oh,
No, I was just gonna bring up the fact, the letter that Bo drafted for the grinder pump situation.
I assumed you would put that under your just operating
Gotcha,
words.
I can handle that, thank
Okay,
you.
all right.
I did.
That was unanimous.
Sorry.
Trying to let you go.
Standing business, we have our minutes from our meeting on the 17th of October, current claims and our payroll allowance docket from October 13th to November 2nd. Entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion by by Ryan, sorry.
Second.
Second by Nathan. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous. Anybody signed up for public comment? I don't see anybody. Old business, no. New business. So Tim, it's kind of all falls under operator's report really for you anyway, because you have these individual items. If you want to come on up and give us
Sure.
the update on these items.
Good morning.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
First on the list is I distributed late, and I apologize. We tried a new process this time. We will get better at it. Is the notice of intent to serve for track 27A within River Ridge. They approached me at the beginning of October for this. It's a smaller project, about 10 or 15 acres, but they asked if they could go ahead and get that, so I did. Draft it up for them and present it to the board today for your approval to vote on or ratify. Thank you.
Okay. So we just need a motion to ratify the notice of intent to serve on track 27A in the River Ridge Commerce Center.
So moved.
Motion by Ryan,
I'll second.
second by Nathan. Any questions for Tim on that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That was unanimous. So next up, you had an update for us on utility trucks.
Yes, this is a carryover from the previous meeting. The board asked me to reach out to an additional dealership on specifically the Chevrolet truck, which I did. I solicited Coyle. Coyle did submit, as you can see. I've tried to break this down as a full purchase price. I'm more looking at for a lease purchase for budgetary situations. They did come in a little higher than the rest. You will notice in this summary that there are multiple, and actually specifically 2 extra that I put a supplemental, I laid in front of your seats prior to the meeting, on specifically the 2024 Dodge Ram, which would be the 5th and 6th vehicle down on the summary list. The 5th Ram is the full purchase price of $43,183.50 or $1,037.92 monthly lease payment, with an annual payment of $11,570. We'll probably do the annual payment at least initially, but we can always revert back to monthly. I think this will help again with my budgetary control of the budget. So at this point in time, the Rams are the lowest vehicle that we're looking at. excuse me, this specific RAM that I'm here to recommend today is not the absolute lowest, but there is a reason for that. If you will look into the far right-hand column, I list out warranty terms, and this particular RAM has the 5-year, 100,000-mile warranty, where the rest of the vehicles on the list are 5 years, 60,000 warranty. And during my solicitation of this information, it was very critical that we look at the 5-year 100,000 because it keeps a better residual price for us when we get ready to turn these back in. So the whole game plan here is to get a rolling capital improvement program, and this is our best scenario associated with my efforts. So I'm here today to recommend the purchase of the 2024 Ram V8 for total purchase price of $43,183.50.
Same dealership as the lowest bidder.
Yes, that is correct. Yes, that is correct. And as a matter of fact, the dealership was very transparent with me and actually pointed this out and helped me make that decision, a more informed decision. Thank you, Bill.
What's the residual?
Residual would be what
I know what are they?
we won't know until we get to that point. If we go in after 4 years, Ryan, and we've got 75,000 miles on the truck, the residual is going to be a lot greater than it is if it's 120,000 miles.
No, I totally get that. I guess I'm just doing simple math here. Something's not making sense in my head.
Okay.
If we're doing a 4-year lease, let's just say, 1,037, 48 months, that's $49,000.
Right.
If there's money on top of that as a residual, I mean, we paid a lot of money for that.
Well, when I say residual, it would be the residual at the time, at the end of the lease.
Yeah, I get that.
About how many miles are you putting on a vehicle every year right now?
This particular vehicle, I would say, we will be less than 100,000 miles in 5 years, which is the sweet spot, according to the dealerships, is less than 5 years old. 5 years or less in age and less than 100,000 miles gives you the greater potential for increased residual on that.
Are you looking at a revolving capital plan here where you are turning over every 4 years or every 5 years? So,
Yep.
4-year lease, so.
It's a 4-year lease, I'm sorry, a 4-year lease, and we have the option with these particular leases at the end of 4 years, we can purchase the truck outright for $1 if we choose to do so.
Right, I see that, so, that's good. If it's a 4-year lease and we're looking at trying to create revolving, you think you're putting about how many miles on this vehicle per year?
Probably, on this particular vehicle, it'll be 15 to 20. Because it's not really a field service vehicle, per se.
So you think that it's reasonable at turn-in that you would have had 60,000 miles on it at turn-in? If you do a
Yes.
4-year?
Yes.
And that's why you're recommending the other one for the 100,000, because you still have some warranty
Right,
available.
I still have full warranty through the ownership period.
Right.
And it would carry over.
Does that
full
warranty transfer with the vehicle?
Yes, yes, thank you.
Okay, so that's the kicker.
Yes.
That's why you're recommending this one, is what I'm hearing. So the idea would be that at 4 years, if it has less than 100,000 miles, the others are at 60,000 miles.
Right.
That the value at trade-in or return would be higher with this vehicle if we transfer it over at 4 and go with something new, because they'd be able to resell it, because the warranty still exists for 1 year and roughly 40,000 miles, if your estimate is correct.
Correct. Yes, thank you for that clarification. This is our attempt to get into a situation, get away from previous practices, not pointing fingers at anybody, of buying trucks and running fail.
Is this vehicle going to be used as a take-home vehicle, or is this?
Yes, ma'am.
So it will get a little more mileage on it than if we were just driving it. It's not like a traditional city truck that's not a take-home vehicle where the mileage is very low.
No, and that's why I'd say that the estimation of 15 to 20 a year would be more accurate for this.
And to be clear, we allow take-home vehicles with some staff when they are, when they have the responsibility for being on call. So not every single staff member receives a take-home vehicle. Only staff members that are responding directly to emergency. And even the ones that might be on call, they don't always get a take-home. Wastewater is different because when there's a wastewater emergency, we don't want them to have to spend the extra time necessarily going to the plant to pick up a city truck and then driving out. Sometimes they have to go directly to the site at a lift station or whatever. So that's why we allow take-home for whoever's on call. Thoughts, board?
I'm all for getting a truck, but I know the car dealer industry very, very, very well. So the term lease is being used here, and I know there's a residual in the back end. I totally understand how leases work and how
Yes,
the
sir.
residual works. A 4-year payment of what you're showing me here is not a lease. That is a loan, or it should be.
It is.
If there's a residual on top of that, I have huge issues with it. I think we're getting hosed,
Okay,
is what I think.
okay.
That's the only thing I've got with it. I mean, getting you a truck, I'm all for getting another truck. I'm not against that.
I will be glad to take your direction and recommendation. Are we critical right now? No, I'll be honest.
Is this financed through the dealer or are we financing this
That
with
is
the bank?
financed through New Washington State Bank, which give us a lower rate. Ally, the dealership looked at 2 finance companies. One was Ally, the other was New Washington State Bank. Ally was 8.89%. New Washington State Bank give us a preferred level because they are local at 6.69%.
Seeing as how we meet twice a month, and we're not critical, I feel like there's some questions that Ryan has that need to be answered.
Absolutely.
And, Ryan can communicate directly with you, maybe
Sure.
get some clarification
I
for
would
this
love to
before
help.
we take action. We're going to be meeting in 2 weeks, so I'm sure you could have those answers by then. And since we're not absolutely critical, I see no reason to rush a decision
Okay.
if we have pause.
Not
And
a
what you're
problem.
saying there, I mean, interest rate, if that's an interest rate, it's a 4-year loan at that price, and it's not a lease with a residual,
Right.
then I'm totally fine.
It's a
with
loan,
that.
I think we just need the clarification,
Yeah.
right? Are we doing a loan, are we doing a lease with
Yeah.
residual, like what's,
Right.
yeah.
It's called a municipal lease, and yeah, I mean, maybe it would help me
Yeah,
to sit down and talk with, I believe it's Cody
Yeah.
at this particular dealership, and if I could get you on the phone with
be
us.
happy to help.
Yeah, I would appreciate that, and it would be good. I mean, because the key things here, the 2 key things as I understand them is the interest rate and the $1 buyout at the end of the process, if we decide to keep the truck.
Yeah, and that's a totally different scenario. It's like, I'm all on board with that, but if we're truly signing a lease, and
Is
then
it-
at the end of this thing, there's a $15,000, $20,000 residual, we made a horrible deal. You know what I
The
mean?
lease,
Yeah.
one of the differences in the lease is traditionally a lease, like when we were dealing with Enterprise, the vehicles were in Enterprise's name.
Mhm.
These leases are not, they will be in the city name.
Yeah.
They will own the vehicles, so.
Okay.
Yes, I have no problem and appreciate the board wanting to.
So I'm gonna make a motion that we table this until at least our next meeting, give you
Sure.
a chance to kind of work through some of those questions that we had. Do
Sure.
we have a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Ryan. All in favor of tabling to next time, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So we'll just wait on that one.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes.
Again, but.
No,
we just
that's,
wanna be
no, that's
careful.
quite all right. I
Yeah.
mean, like I said, we're not critical for it, so.
Great. All right, and you had some collection system specifications for us.
Yes, this has been a project that unfortunately Zach wasn't able to join us today, that he, myself, and our staffs has been working on. This is a huge improvement for the city of Charlestown, in my opinion. This document will allow not only the builders, but the city to have guidelines to make sure that we standardize installations from pipes to lift stations. And there's no mix matching or anything like that. I'm here today to highly recommend that the board adopt this design guideline criteria.
It came yesterday.
Okay, good. So,
So I had a question on, it may just not be an issue of anything, but with the gravity sanitary sewer section,
yes, ma'am.
where it's talking about connections into lines and lines from homes and stuff. would it be acceptable, or is it advisable, should we consider requiring, or did I miss it and it's already in here, backflow preventers to be installed?
No, it is absolutely acceptable, and maybe I missed it, but that is definitely something we would want to involve.
I didn't see
On
it,
new builds especially.
I didn't see it, but maybe I missed it
Right.
in here.
You probably did not. It was probably an oversight.
And I just, thinking ahead to a lot of the problems we have, since we do still have some significant I&I events, and sometimes, heavy rains, there are backflow events, and we have had to step in some of those occasions. Moving forward, perhaps we could avoid some of those things if we did require backflow
I
preventers.
think what you did see in here, or what I know you did see in here, is we do require a clean out at the property line.
Yes, I saw that.
Right away.
And I think that's
What should have
great.
been inclusive of that is that clean out should be a backflow preventing apparatus as well.
Okay.
Make a combination,
Okay,
so.
so maybe we could clarify
Yes,
that, because I think that would help prevent stuff. I mean, obviously, we can't go back in time and put them in everybody's houses, but as we build for the future, that would certainly
Absolutely.
help mitigate any issues down the road.
And
So,
the beautiful thing of this particular document, it is a living document. What we decide on today, or any specific point in the future, does not put it in hard stone. We can amend this as we need to.
okay.
I didn't see where you had rain catchers. Aren't you putting those under the manhole lids?
Yes, sir.
Is that in here? I didn't see that as a
Yes.
requirement.
Don't know exactly where, but yes. I mean, and that has been a big push of ours, and
Correct.
that's a good catch.
Anything you can do like that, I think is important.
Absolutely, and it's made a big improvement within the city so far.
So are you saying it is in here too,
I
but we
believe
missed it?
it is, yes.
I didn't read every word out.
Right.
I would suggest that if that's not in there, we add that to the
I will ensure that.
requirement.
Yes,
What's our stance gonna be on cleanouts? You mentioned putting it at, the right of way. A lot of construction happens where right of way is 25 foot from the front of the property, all utilities are in that
Right.
area. The new development, that's pretty standard stuff, right?
Right,
When I go to build a house, I build a house 2 foot beyond the property build lines, because I'm not gonna put a house on the build line, this is
right.
not a good practice. And normally I put a clean out right at the house, now we're talking 2 feet. So are we talking, we're gonna put 2 clean outs then on each one of these houses, or are we gonna have some lenience there,
Right, I mean, the intent is to put the clean out within a few feet of the house.
Yeah,
And then at the property line, so that there means, and actually that clean out at the property line is dual purpose.
yeah,
It's a dual benefit, I should say. The homeowner can utilize that to go back to their lateral line if they need. If you recall, about a year ago, I presented to the board an issue with the stubs or service lines that travel under the sidewalks or roadways. And the board at that time decided that that the city would take responsibility if there is a structural break under the sidewalk or the road, we would then become responsible and have to fix that. That would give us access to investigate that as well.
but I guess what I'm saying though is, if I'm putting one at the house at 27 feet, and then you're wanting another one at 25 feet, so we're putting 2 of them 2 foot apart.
I don't know why you would do that. I understand your question,
Yeah, you
but
see
I
what I'm
don't know why you would do that.
Okay,
but-
so I guess there's a little lenience in that, is kind of.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you just be putting one at the street where they want it, not one by the house.
Yeah.
Probably. As a builder, what you would end up with.
I mean, once we get much beyond, and this is a very slippery slope, we get much beyond the property line of the clean out to the house is private property.
Yeah.
We try not and strive very hard, we don't work on private property.
I'm a little surprised that we're even taking ownership of the line to the house. Usually it's tap to
That's
the
right.
house is homeowner's responsibility, correct?
mhm.
I'm a little surprised we're even going that far with it.
That was a decision made, I mean, honestly, that was a decision made by this board at that time. I am customary in most of the other utilities I worked in, that the homeowner is responsible all the way to the main.
I mean,
But I think because it was a burden, and it can be a huge burden on the homeowner, that the decision was made that the city would step in and help under, or in situations where the line travels underneath the roadway or whatever.
Yeah.
And
I
I
think
mean,
if
I'm
it-
not opposed to that, but we've experienced that probably half a dozen times since then, and that's $2,000 to $5,000.
Well, then it brings up the whole issue that you and I kind of talked about too with E1s. I mean, it's a whole different animal, and that's a thing of the future. A lot of developments are going that direction.
Right.
You mean the individual pumps, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, that
Yeah.
should definitely be to the main.
Well, and what we do with those is we actually require a deed restriction that clarifies for the owner that it is their responsibility. Now, Tim has a letter for us, that's, after this, we have to discuss, there's a previous issue that we inherited from past administrations that we need to clean up for just a few property owners, but yes, I mean, in general, we typically, I mean, that's what we tell people, is you're responsible from the tap to your home. And I mean, one thing I think we could do better is make sure that people understand that there are opportunities to get extra kind of coverage and insurance coverage. I know that Indiana American Water offers, a little, if you pay a little bit extra per year for certain things, they will provide coverage for failure of water and sewer. You can get sewer as well, for those kinds of events. But it's an education thing for our,
Right.
you know, for us to
And,
do.
but I would really want to preface on that, we have nothing to do with that
Right.
agreement.
So
Right, no, it's not for the
I mean,
city,
that
it's
has
just
been-
that there, but there are opportunities
Yeah,
for
we
people to
have
sign
been
on to
approached
that.
about that before, and
Right.
you guys have got this, no, we do not have that.
No,
contract
we don't
with
do
that
that,
project.
no.
what if we take this stance that we're taking from the main up to a clean out now on someone's property,
Mhm.
does that not put the city at huge liability now? So I call 811, I'm gonna do something really silly in my front yard or my backyard, say it's in the backyard, I'm gonna dig a pool. It's your all's responsibility now to actually flag the tap lines at that point. If I dig that up, doesn't that put some liability
Yeah.
on us?
Sure it does.
Yeah,
I think we take the stance that it's main on as the homeowner's responsibility. I think it puts the city under way too much liability. And I think that's pretty common practice. Am I incorrect in that?
Correct.
Okay.
I don't disagree.
I
And
support
then if it's a
that.
case-by-case scenario, if there's someone that has an issue and it's an older system or whatever, this board can
Well, and
always make an adjustment.
we
right?
always have, we've made case-by-case situations where there have been previous, even private, you know, laterals that
Yeah.
for over the time period have been serviced by the city at some point in the past where we've had to step in. And then we always have letters of agreement, get easements and try to install a manhole. I mean, we have to make case-by-case, but I agree, that standard is tapped to houses is private property. And I think we need to clarify that.
I think that just puts the city and this board in a safer situation.
I agree.
So what do we have to amend?
Do you want action on this today, or do you want them to review?
I don't feel comfortable taking action on it today myself, just because we've got some additional questions again that we need to clarify. I think it's a good document. Commend you on getting it done. I know you've been working on this for a while, so I appreciate that. But I think that, you know, we have some additional questions, like, I just scanned back over the manhole section, I didn't see anything about the rain catchers, you know.
I didn't see it there, but
Um,
it's not in there.
Yeah, I just came back over the manhole section, I didn't see that. I do think that backflow preventer, you know, under new construction is something that is smart on. Again, and that's helping decrease risk for the homeowner, really more than anything. I mean, it's a rule we put in place, but it definitely helps decrease risk for the homeowner. It's kind of coverage for them.
These people can practice.
It's absolutely should be, and it should be common practice, I mean, you know, for new construction. So, I think we need to see those things and then review this, tap thing. So maybe let Bo have time to really review it and go back and maybe get with Zach and Bill and kind of clarify some of those things. If you, I mean, assuming you don't have to have it today, I'm assuming.
I do not have to have it today, no.
And if you all have any questions on it, email Tim or me, on things you'd like to see in there.
Yeah.
Would it be advantageous to have a point person from the board to discuss with on this?
I think I would throw Ryan out for that one.
I
I mean, since
Sorry,
he's,
I'm not trying
of
to.
the three of us, he's the one out here building some houses, so I would put him
I mean,
on.
I gladly would take.
I nominate Ryan for that subcommittee.
It's just easier sometimes to know who the point person, who's the bus driver.
Yeah, yep.
Whatever you need.
And I mean, I think Nathan brings up a good concern with the rain catchers too. I mean, you've heard from both of us already on something we want to clarify, and then I
Ryan
think
builds
Ryan.
them, Nathan designs them, so
There
we've
you
got
go.
two excellent resources.
Yep, all right, so I think you do that. So I'll make a motion that we table that till next time and get some additional work done on
I'll
that.
second that.
Okay, got a second from Ryan. All in favor of tabling, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We'll table that one. Tim, we're not letting you do anything today.
No,
That's
sorry,
okay.
Tim.
That's okay.
Oh.
No, not a problem.
And then you had a letter.
Yeah, but
speaking
last but
of-
not least, I do have a letter associated with a 2000 a decision made by the city in 2000 specifically for 4 residents on Church Street. They have the E1 grinder pumps that was referenced just a few moments ago. In the last year, we've had 2 of those fail. And according to the documents, the minutes that I really appreciate Heather helping me dig those up, the city stated at that time that they would keep a pump on hand, provide that pump to the homeowner so they can get back up and running in a quicker time frame. We did that on the first one. The second one caught us in between ordering a pump, but since it's back up and running, I think that the intent, or I hope the intent of that conversation was the city would help with that one time.
Yeah, that's what, the only thing we really have to go off of are Board of Works meeting minutes from 2007 that Tim's reviewed and Heather provided. And that's what it specifies in the meeting minutes, and that's kind of all we have. I don't believe there are any written agreements with the homeowners.
No.
So there was a commitment by the city in 2007 to provide 1 replacement. We've drafted, we looked at the state statute, the minutes, drafted this letter for the homeowner to kind of sign it, where they agree and acknowledge that from here on out, they're responsible for their own grinder pumps and replacements thereof, and the city's not giving any warranties implied or expressed related to the grinder pumps or the labor that installed them. So that's what that letter before you is for.
So I just want to clarify that they had these 4 residences, they had a grinder pump installed. And what we're saying is, when that pump fails, they get one more from the city.
Yes.
We make no warranties on it in the future. We're not providing maintenance on it.
Right.
And if it fails again in the future, it's on them to replace it.
That's right. State statute requires the grinder pumps anyways to be ownership and responsibility of the landowner. Again, the city made the exception in the meeting minutes in 2007. That's why there's the replacement here.
And so Tim did bring this to me, and I reviewed the minutes as well, and that was mine. And he gave me the minutes and said, I'm not going to tell you my interpretation of this. I want you to read it and tell me what you interpret. And I came to the same interpretation without being told. I mean, it was pretty clear that it said have 1 extra on hand, and that we would do that one time outside of the original installation had been done. So, and I believe there are.
It's already been done.
There are 2 left.
There are 2 left, so we've done it for 2, and that was the other thing I told Tim, is let's make sure that we're having that standard, right? That everyone is getting the same treatment on those 4 homes.
Right.
And I asked him specifically to bring it to the board so that it could be codified in the minutes, that this is the decision we've made, and have this letter of acknowledgement. That way, when we're not here, because we don't know when these pumps will eventually fail, when we are not here, there is public record that this is the standard that was set. So that's why I asked for them to clarify this process.
Question for you, Mr. Bowe. What I have had to do, and what may be a nice little paragraph in here, is they need to refer to the manufacturer on what can and cannot go into those pumps. Because I've had people come back on me, so I didn't know it couldn't flush that, type of deal. You know, I don't know, it's up to you if you think it needs to be added or not, but these are E1 systems, and that is what's causing failure, is what people are flushing in them.
Yeah. So this letter is meant to be signed after we install the second one, so we stop liability at that. So,
And that's just saying, you know, something along the lines of, you know, this is it, we're done, you need to refer to the manufacturer
Yeah.
on how that thing's on there. I just
Right.
wanted to come back.
No, I really want to emphasize this particular letter was for 4 properties.
Yeah,
It's not an ongoing thing. No
Right.
disrespect to
Yeah.
you, Ryan.
Right.
The pumps that are in,
Yeah.
that out there, really, this has nothing to do
Okay.
with it.
yeah, and I think the last sentence tackles express or implied warranties related.
I just didn't want to come back and say, hey, you put this pump in and I did this, but I know you don't have a warranty on it, but you did tell me I couldn't do that to it. That's
Did
what
you
happens.
add, could we just amend it to say, that last sentence to say, in no way does the city maintain or provide any warranties expressed or implied regarding this private grinder pump rinse installation. Instead, we recommend that you
Yes, that's.
review your manufacturer
That's all I'm
warranty and information.
That's
Just
just the-
tack that on to that last sentence.
That's the conversation I'm having on my end,
Sure.
and I'm just trying to make
I
sure we
can
don't have
imagine.
those two, you know?
So let's just amend that last sentence. So we're voting on this as amended. I'm assuming you need us to vote on this?
Yeah, I think it wouldn't hurt, especially since we're gonna have property owners sign it. And it's gonna
Right.
be a public record going forward.
I'll make
Okay,
that
can
motion
we
amendment.
get, do you happen to know those addresses, just so that we can have that listed in the minutes?
And it's just.
Off the top of my head, no, but I will get them for you. I do know, we do know them, yes. I don't know them off the top of my
Heather, is
head.
there any chance you know those addresses?
Yeah.
You do not? Okay, just checking.
I think that needs to be in the record too.
Okay, so let's
1218 Church Street, 1219 Church Street, whatever those four
Yes.
houses are.
agree. I think it actually needs to be in the letter. And then the letter needs to be held by the clerk's office, the clerk treasurer's office, so that they can have that. Just want it all clarified, so.
Are we tabling this too? I'm sorry, Jill, that's not funny.
When Seth and I were looking into this, there was a reference to 3 houses, and one of them had to be put back on septic.
Okay.
So has anybody
That
investigated
was,
that?
I don't think that was in the minutes.
No.
The minutes that we saw
Not those
just,
minutes, but when
Yeah.
Seth and I we were trying to find any kind of agreements that were signed. We
Right.
never came across anything, but in the pursuit, we came across another set of minutes that referenced the fact that 3 houses, the pumps had been installed, but one house, there was an issue and had to be put back on septic.
all right, we're gonna have to,
So they already installed 3 of them, so they've already put 3 in then.
They had, in 2008,
well, we put 3 in, so originally, so what the minutes say is that we installed them, because it was part of an, so what it was a part of an agreed order through IDEM.
Right.
Where these people had to come on. So we installed the first ones, and then the minutes said that we would also provide a second one when that failed. And so what we're trying to clarify
This
is,
the second one then, okay.
this is, so 2 of the houses have already had their second one put in.
Right.
And now there seems to be a question of whether there's 1 more that needs it or 2 more that needs it. So Tim,
I think
you're
we need-
striking out on,
I think what needs to be specifically addressed and vote on an individual, that way you're,
I think so too.
that way in the minutes
I
it
don't
says
disagree.
this for church, this for church, this for
Table
church.
this one and I'll bring this back.
It's not bad to table something, it just means that we're being careful.
I just,
So
I understand.
I'll make a motion that we table this until our next meeting.
Second.
Okay.
There.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Let's bring that back and have the addresses listed.
Absolutely.
You don't have to put the homeowners' names, just because in theory they could change homeowner ownership, but at least the addresses so that we know for sure what we're dealing here.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
Not a
What do you want,
problem.
Jill?
That was
Sure.
Yeah, third one, you're out.
Thanks, Jill,
Thank you,
appreciate it.
Tim.
Wow.
He's consistent.
That's okay.
That's right.
Well, we did give him his NOI, come on, he didn't completely, I mean.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, we have 3 SRF disbursements, I believe we can do these as one, we don't have to do these as individuals, correct? Vote.
Yes, yes.
All right, so we have SRF request number 15, this is for Jacoby Tombs and Lands, the amount of $19,250. SRF request number 16 for Pace Contracting LLC in the amount of $1,192,168. And request number 17 for Pace Contracting LLC in the amount of $1,552,681. I'm assuming these have all passed Tim's review and engineering review. Tim, is that a yes?
Yes.
Yes. And so with that, I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion by Ryan,
Second.
second by Nathan. Any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And that's unanimous. See, we do get some stuff done. We pay our bills. All right, if there's nothing else from anyone, just make sure that everybody signs what they need to sign for Donna. And great, we just need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Ryan,
Second.
second by Nathan. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, we are adjourned. See you in a couple weeks.